Hey guys, today we're doing lesson 5. What are the states of matter? So you should have read the section in the book on lesson 5, and now we're going to do the online lab to go with it.
Welcome to the lesson, What are the states of matter? We're going to learn about solids, liquids, and gases. We will also learn about how they are similar and different. The vocabulary words for this lesson are solid, liquid, gas, evaporation, and condensation. Click each word to find out more about it.
So the first one is solid. And solid is a form of matter that has a volume and a shape that both stay the same. So they don't change their shape or volume no matter what. Liquid, a form of matter that has a volume that stays the same but a shape that can change. So the volume will stay the same, but if I pour liquid from one cup to another cup, it's going to take the shape of the cup. So it doesn't look the same in everything you put it in. And a gas is a form of matter that has no definite shape or volume. So it doesn't take the shape of anything, and it doesn't have volume. Evaporation is the process by which liquid water changes into water vapor. So evaporation is when you heat up water and it turns into a gas. So if you look at the picture, you can see the steam coming off the ground, and then all the water disappears because it evaporated into the air. And the last one is condensation, the process by which water vapor changes into liquid water. So a lot of times you get condensation on the outside of water or outside of drinks or something when it's really cold. The water vapor in the air cools down enough to turn back into a liquid instead of a gas. Let's do the next part of the lab.
It's hard to believe that this tower of ice is the same substance as the liquid water below it. Did you know that ice takes up more space than liquid water?
Next.
Like all matter, water has 3 states: solid, liquid, and gas. Click each picture to learn more about each state.
So the ice is solid.
Solids like these ice cubes have a definite shape and volume. Volume is a measure of how much space matter takes up. By looking at these ice cubes, it is clear how much space they take up.
Then we have liquid.
These liquids have different shapes. That's because liquids take on the shape of their container. Like solids, liquids have a definite volume. They do not have a definite shape. Do you see the steam coming out of the kettle? That's a sign that water vapor, a gas, has been produced. Gas is the 3rd state of matter. Gases do not have a definite volume or shape. Although you can't see gases, the steam tells you that a gas is in the air. Because gas. Do you see the steam coming out of the kettle? That's a sign that water vapor, a gas, has been produced. Gas is the 3rd state of matter. Gases do not have a definite volume or shape. Although you can't see gases, the steam tells you that a gas is in the air. The steam forms when invisible water vapor, a gas, condenses to form tiny water droplets. When you breathe and your lungs fill with air, that's another sign that a gas is present. Because gases spread out to fill space, they do not have a definite shape or volume. However, they can be squeezed or compressed into a container.
Think of a balloon. A balloon is filled with air and gas. So all the air that's inside of there is stuck inside there. So you can force it to be in the balloon. But as soon as you pop the balloon, the gas goes everywhere and it doesn't keep the shape of the balloon.
Matter can change from one state to another, but certain conditions must be in place. Click each picture to find out what happens. At 100 degrees Celsius, water boils. Have you seen bubbly hot water boiling on the stove? Boiling water is changing from a liquid into a gas. Liquid water does not have to boil to become a gas. Water from a pond and sweat on your arm can become a gas without being 100 degrees Celsius. When liquid water becomes a gas below 100 degrees Celsius, it is called evaporation. Gas changes back into a liquid when it cools. This process, the opposite of evaporation, is called condensation. Do you think that liquid water can change into a solid? If you said yes, you're right. Water freezes when it cools down to 0 degrees Celsius. As ice warms up, it melts at 0 degrees Celsius and becomes water.
So those are the 3 stages of water: solid, liquid, and gas.
You've just learned about solids, liquids, and gases. Now take a look at these objects. Can you put them in the right category? Drag each picture to where it belongs.
So if it's a solid, it has a definite shape and volume. So the house doesn't change shape, pennies don't change shape, trees don't change shape, besides losing their leaves. Liquids have a volume, but don't keep the same shape. So the drink is liquid, these bottles are liquid, and the Windex is liquid. And a gas is coming off the pot, and the balloon is filled with
You
gas.
got it! A tree, a house, and a coin are all solids because they have a definite shape and volume. Juice, oil, and window cleaner are liquids. They take the shape of their containers, but they have a definite volume. And gases like the helium inside this balloon or water vapor from a pot of boiling water spread out to fill their containers because they do not have a definite shape or volume. What will happen to this flavored water? Click the statement that answers the question.
So if I put the liquid water into a freezer to cool it off, what's going to happen? Will it freeze, melt, evaporate, or condense?
That's correct. When liquid water is cooled to 0 degrees Celsius, it will freeze and become ice. If the ice is heated, it will melt. Can you name how water changes? Match the process to the sentence that best describes it.
So melting is when ice changes to water. Evaporation is when water changes to water vapor. Condensation is when water vapor changes to water, so the opposite of evaporation. And freezing is when water
Great
changes
job!
to ice.
You matched the process with its description. You've learned a lot about water and how it changes from one state to another. Before we finish, let's take a quick look at the main points you covered. Matter commonly exists in 3 states: solid, liquid, and gas. Solids have a definite shape and volume. Liquids take on the shape of their container, and they do not have a definite shape. Gases do not have a definite volume or shape. Can solid water change to a liquid? Yes, as ice warms up, it melts to become a liquid. Water freezes when it cools down to 0 degrees Celsius. it becomes a solid. Water can evaporate to become a gas. Gas changes back into a liquid when it cools. Now that you've finished this lesson, if you wish, you can go back and review any part of the lesson again.
All right, that is all for the video today. The only other thing you need to do is take your Lesson 5 quiz. Use your book to help you or watch the